Hello, Packers fans. Welcome into PackersNews.com. I'm Kassidy Hill, joined by Pete Dougherty here from Lambeau Field, where, Pete, the Packers finally got to come home for the first time in over a month, but a happy homecoming it was not. They dropped their fourth straight, fifth overall, a 24-10 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. That now makes them 1-2 in the division as well, something else to keep in mind. And a game that, if there was a theme to this game, Pete, it would have to be missed opportunities. So many chances there to tie, maybe even win, even in the fourth quarter, and once again squandered by this Packers team. Is that just kind of what you've come to expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point the division race is the least of their concerns. You know, it's not just that they're losing, it's that they're playing really bad football on offense. I mean, at this point, I don't think they're a slow-starting team. I just think they're not very good on offense, and that's why they have trouble scoring in the first half or doing anything. And they really don't get it going until it's just desperation time, and then they get a little something. But like today, they had three good scoring chances in the fourth quarter, down 24-10, right? Three good chances, and they got nothing out of any of them. You can't blame the defense, even though the defense is just okay. You can't blame them. It's just there's a lot of things going wrong on offense, between the quarterback not lifting everybody else's play, and receivers not making plays for them when they have a chance to.
Not only did they have opportunities in the fourth quarter, I mean, they had 3 drives in the fourth quarter, and let's just kind of look at how these ended. 2 of those drives, they all ended on the Viking side of the field. 2 of them, one ended on the Vikings' 10-yard line, the other on the 21-yard line. One of those was a goal to go, but because of penalties and a sack, it got them backed up. Came away turnover on downs on both of those drives. Players have said, things are simple. They've been watered down, but are they going to have to be watered down even more?
How much, at a certain point, you can't keep watering down. Now it's still, we're going to have to, when you try to step back and take a bigger look picture, like I saw a tweet from Andrew Brandt, former vice president for the Packers. He was their cap guy for years. He said, I know this is really hard for people to hear and to see, but this is what they signed up for when they got in all this cap trouble going for it the last few years, and now making the change at quarterback. This was to be expected. I did not expect the struggles to be this bad. I certainly thought 7 wins was kind of my over-under, but I didn't think the offense would be that. I thought it would be a roller coaster, some tough times, but also I thought there'd be more times where they looked pretty good too. And there's very little of the looking pretty good, at least in the heart of the game, which sets up the fourth quarter. They're just doing nothing in the heart of the game.
Rasul Douglas made the comment. He said, youth is not an excuse for this team, because even though this may be some of the guys' first or only second year in the NFL, we've all played football for most of our lives. The only person on this team who can have youth as their excuse is Kenneth, because he came from Nigeria and had never played a snap of American football until the past few months. He's like, Kenneth is the only person that gets to use that excuse of youth. Is that fair?
It's the way they have to look at it if they're going to get things going sooner rather than later. If you want to take a bigger picture look at it, it's not like guys are going to learn lessons. It's not literally week to week. And I was looking, again, going back to what was the Lions example of a year ago. Just like the Packers, they came out of their bye and they lost 2 straight games, including their worst loss of the year. Then they went on their run. Now, that was a different team. They had a little more star power on defense. They didn't have a young quarterback, so these things aren't linear. It's down, up, down, up. The down has been a bigger drop. Not that they've lost 4 in a row. I don't think that's a stunner, but it's just how bad the offense has been is the surprise.
Let's actually hear from Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur on how they thought both the quarterback and the offense did today.
There's some plays that obviously, I say this every week in terms of there's going to be a couple plays that you want back, but also we got to make some plays for them too. I think we had 6 drop balls. That's going to be tough to overcome. We got to catch it. We got to throw it better. We got to catch it better. We got to block better. We got to stop having penalties that knock us back and put us in these obvious pass situations. We got to find a way to convert a third down early in the game so you can run your offense. I mean, we're running 2-minute offense for half the game. So you don't even get into the what you work on all week and what you plan for. You can't even get into your normal rhythm because you're not moving the chains. So that's what's disappointing. You put all this time and effort into something, and you come up with a plan, and you don't even give yourself a chance to go execute it. We're playing 2-minute ball the whole second half.
I mean, I think it's on everybody. I think, as a whole, we look at it, and I think we all say the same thing. We all got to make plays. We all got to be more consistent. When our numbers call, we got to just execute, make those plays, limit the mistakes. That's what's killing us right now is penalties, mistakes, from top down. That's everybody. So I think everybody on offense will say the same exact thing.
Jordan, you said it's too bumpy for you right now. You're not going to be perfect, but why do you think you can't find that consistency individually?
I think it's really how we start the game. I think just as a team, we've started slow in the last couple games, we can't find a rhythm right now. We're on the field. Might go 3 and out, might make a play, penalty here, bumps us back, and I think when we've gotten longer down in distances, we haven't been good, it's really hurting ourselves. But I think we just haven't had that ability to find the rhythm on offense that we need.
Rasul Douglas said after the game today, Pete, we're going to have to be perfect. No one's perfect but God, but we're going to have to be perfect. Is that going to have to be the mindset of this defense if this team has any chance of turning things around?
The defense was okay today. They've got on third down, especially in the first half, man, they have trouble getting off the field. They get them in good down and distance situations, and then they give up a play. But they got them the turnover. They did get the stops. The special teams had the blocked field goal, so the chances were still there. It's not a defense. It's not a top 5 defense. They can't expect this defense to just go out and win them games. But that was actually a decent offensive team they were playing. Right. And so they did okay, and the game was winnable. Perfect. Yeah, they're never going to be. I guess it wouldn't hurt if they were luckier. If Kirk Cousins had torn his Achilles a quarter earlier, maybe the outcome would have been different.
Is that the diagnosis that he torn his Achilles?
Yeah, torn Achilles. So
is that season ending?
Oh yeah, it's got to be. I can't imagine. So that's kind of the Vikings season goes down the tubes unless are there any quarterbacks on the trade block. I'm thinking there might be one out there, but nobody's coming to mind. So, so I think basically the division's there for the taking. Not really.
You mentioned some of the opportunities. Quay Walker took a lot of responsibility for that dropped interception early on in the game. Said if I'd gotten that interception, if I'd run it in for the touchdown, it could be a completely different game. Rasul Douglas took a lot of blame. Jair Alexander, even though he was able to play the full game, is this kind of, when you have a young team, is it going to take some of these veterans taking on responsibility? And Quay Walker's not a veteran, but he acts like one, taking on responsibility that maybe is not even theirs.
I think it's just going to be a matter of over the next 5 weeks, then we'll be pretty deep into it. Does Love play better? Does Christian Watson start making some catches and runs? Does Romeo Doubs start putting up games where he's getting 8, 9, 10 catches? Any of those things. I think it's more they just need the quarterback and the receivers to gel, and their offensive line has not been. That's been of everything. That's been the most puzzling thing. Is I thought that would be. There were people who thought their Packers had one of the best offensive lines in the league. I'd never thought that, but I thought it was for sure a strength, and it was an above-average offensive line. But they've been below average all season.
Let's actually hear from some of those defensive guys and Aaron Jones, the veterans, really, on what they think they're going to have to do if the Packers want to have any chance of turning this season around.
I feel like it's on me, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not leading the right way. I got to find better ways to lead. Because clearly what I'm doing is just not enough. And how I'm leading is not good enough. So I got to go back to the drawing board myself. And find a different way to lead.
Are you pissed off right now, or are you just down and hurting? I mean, this is seems like you're having a tough time here.
Yeah, I'm both. I'm both. Cause like, bro, like we saying, it's like, bro, until we actually do this, it don't really matter. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about it, bro. Like I ain't never been a loser in my life, bro. But these last 2 years have been like a loser. Like that shit ain't me. I don't think that's us. So we gotta just do something. You know what I mean?
Cliche as it might sound, 4-game losing streak. Is this where you kind of find out what a guy's made of, what a team's made of?
Definitely. When your back's against the wall, you got nothing to lose. Who's gonna come out fighting? Who's gonna tuck their tails? You find out a lot about people and their character, and so it's gonna be telling.
So what do you need to see this week from the guys to kind of feel like they've got the character this team needs?
Just cut it loose, whether doesn't mean not just on game day, but practice. Just having great energy in here at all times, like being somebody that everybody wants to be around, even on the field. We just need more of those. We need everybody like that. We need everybody like that, and because energy is contagious.
You mentioned Christian Watson maybe getting some more balls, Romeo Doubs, and sort of that timing coming together. Christian Watson mentioned that specifically after the game. It was like, the touchdown ball that he didn't catch in the end zone, that's going to be timing, things like that. How long, in your experience, does it take for that timing to come about?
Did he consider that a drop? Did he say whether he felt like that was a drop or not?
He said he should have had it.
Okay. I don't. That's a really good question, and sometimes we get in the mindset that okay, a guy makes a mistake next week, he catches that ball. Well, I don't know if it's next week or not. It may not be till December. It might not be till next year, and maybe he's just not good enough to make that play. I think Watson's a really talented player. My guess is at some point he's going to be making those plays, but I can't tell you whether it's going to be next week or whether it won't be for a month, or whether they're going to have to just live with some really, really hard times for all of 23 and reap the rewards of 24. I mean, if they're a good team next year, all this will be worth it. But this is really tough to watch. I'm sure really hard to go through. The fans have seen basically the same thing for a month now. They're hearing the same things from the players and the coaches, and it gets old quick. And the only way to change it is by what happens on the field.
We're getting a lot of field work right now, too, with this grass getting cut. Christian Watson talked about that and the connect that needs to come more with him and Jordan Love. Let's hear from him now.
I just tried to, get in front of the safety. And, I mean, he was able to go up for it, too. Once again, just got to find a way to it was a must-have at that point in the game, so just got to find a way to make them. Frustration's high. I'm a competitor. I want to play at the highest level possible. I don't think that, I played to the standard that I want to play at this year yet. And, I'm going to blame myself first before anybody. I'm not going to put on anyone but myself. Just got to find a way to regardless of what's going on around me, just still be that dude.
Pete, Aaron Jones said 4 losses in a row, 5 overall. This is when you find out what a team is made of. Who's going to come out swinging? Who's going to tuck their tail and cower? What do you expect to see from this team over the next week or so?
I have zero expectations. You and I were the fools of our staff.
We are.
And picked the Green Bay Packers to win this game.
I've been doing so good on my weekly predictions too, and then something in me this week was like, it's going to be the Packers. I was wrong.
I still have trouble seeing this. I have trouble thinking that they'll be playing like this in December, that there is talent to work there with, especially those young receivers. I think there are a couple good players in there. But it's hard to just erase what we've seen most recently too. So, I have zero expectations the Rams got blown out, but how do you pick the Packers to win a game right now? It's pretty tough. Maybe you got to let it sink in and just, try not to be a prisoner of the moment, but also try to see what patterns are showing up and if there are real flaws and if those are going to continue. But I don't know what expectations you have, but who knows as far as I'm concerned. Do you know who you're picking next week?
Nope. I'm going to keep a close eye on the Matthew Stafford injury this week. He was injured in today's game.
I didn't hear hear that.
Matthew Stafford was injured in today's game. What sort of difference does that make for the Rams coming into Lambeau next week? That's going to be a huge, huge factor. I can tell you this, for as much as this defense can do right, they gave up a lot of third and longs today, so I think Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp could feast on a scheme like that. So it'll be interesting to watch.
And Cooper and Kupp too. They got both of them. But if Stafford doesn't play, then obviously the whole calculus changes dramatically.
Well, Pete and I picked the Packers again. We'll have to wait and see. We'll kind of see if we can drink the Kool-Aid during the week or not, or see what we see from this team as they go through practice and prepare for another home game before going back out on the road to face the Steelers. We will have full wrap-up coverage for you on PackersNews.com of the Packers' loss to the Vikings. Make sure to stay tuned there as well. For Pete, I'm Kassidy from Lambeau. We'll see you next time, guys.